Hey everybody, Albert Lagerman here. Welcome back to an all-new video. So, it's been a while since you've seen the lawnmower, and so I've done some things to it since. So here she is. As you can see, I've painted the hood all green, and I've redid the front. I got it a little muddy. Now let's see what's under the hood. So, first things first, I've added a gas pedal. So that just runs up. It was a little bit tricky getting it all hooked up on this Kohler because it has the auto choke thing. I'll show you how I did that. So it runs down, and then I have this thing clamped here. This clamps the wire to a little piece of bent coat hanger. You got to clamp that down real good. Then I have a return spring, which is actually the brake return from a Hydro Craftsman. And then I just have more coat hanger to extend it down. And I had to get pretty fancy with getting the choke hooked up. So I disconnected the choke linkage, which normally hooks up right to this metal piece. Yeah, it was pretty tricky getting that out because I didn't feel like taking the whole carburetor out. And then I ran the original throttle cable down, and I clamped it on this piece of hose clamp. It was actually being used to hold up the deck before I took the deck off. And then it runs to the choke. This is full choke, and then, like, until you feel resistance, that's no choke at all. If you're going to do this, I'll show you. I'll just take the air filter off. So as you can see, there's a little fin in there, and when that fin is like pointing out like this, that means there's no choke. And when the fin is like pretty much shut, you can't really see it from here, that means the choke is full on. So just fiddle with it until you get it right, and then you can like mark it down. So next up, the trussing system stopped working, which is because the voltage regulator was getting a bad ground because all these bolts here have snapped off on the engine block, which was leading to a bad ground. So I had to put in this piece of wire between the frame and the voltage regulator. Now it charges great. And because there are no bolts, this like moves around a lot. And that was shredding up the plastic shroud, so I just took that off. Yeah. Next up, I've swapped in a new transmission. You guys on Made Mud Mowers might have known that I got an MST 205 from the junkyard for $25. So yeah, it's not, I don't have the shifter quite perfect, like neutral's right there and it kind of bumps, so I might adjust that later. And also, I had a real hard time getting it to properly work, so the top of the bolt kind of grinds on top of the transaxle when you put it all the way in 5th gear. As you can see right there. Yeah, and I had to use a hacksaw to shorten down the shifter linkage quite a bit. And in fact, it does fit with this cover on. As you can see right there. Here's the old Spicer. Oh yeah, I also had to shorten down these little thingamajigs, that's wheel spacers, in order for the wheels to properly fit on. But with the new transaxle, the brakes actually work. That's what I have right here. I actually swapped out to have a BMX thingamajig on as the brake pedal. This threaded rod thing down here is not perfect, but it works. And I just barely have enough room to step on the gas pedal. So yeah, I have this hacked together brake stop so it doesn't go back too far. Unfortunately, I don't have a return spring. So now with the new transaxle, the brakes actually make the lawnmower stop, which is great. Lastly, this gas cap, when I flipped it, all the stuff like fell out. So now gas, if you fill it up too much, gas will just leak out the back, which really sucks. So I'm not sure what I'm going to do about that. Yeah, it kind of sucks because like gas leaks out that tiny little hole. I'm thinking of putting a check valve on there, but I don't have a check valve. So, yeah. Any ideas? And I need to get an inner tube for this front tire because it's flat!